Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're taking a look at the Harmony protocol and specifically the price action of the one coin. Guys, as we get into this analysis, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. Right, with this said, done, and out of the way, let's jump into this technical analysis and see exactly what is going on when it comes to Harmony 1. So we're going to start with the weekly chart here. We are paired up with USDT. Binance is our data source. And as always, we can see that there are 5 impulse waves to the upside. Everything's tracking on these very, very nicely. And there's not a lot of concern at the moment as we are now approaching some key areas. And we want to just confirm these areas in. And then we'll be able to see some new price discovery, some new all-time highs. They are literally just around the corner, but we are not quite ready just yet. And I'm going to get into what that looks like on the smaller timeframes in a moment. On this weekly chart, we can see that things started back in March of 2020. Wave 1, I think, peaked around August time. We went into Wave 2, which was the end of this 2020, around December time. Going into the new year nice and strong, peaking out with Wave 3 up here in March of 2021. So from March to March, 385 days total, 18,905% in gains has been made. Okay, we went into a sharp fourth wave correction, again as expected, in line with our 5 impulse waves. This took us down into the accumulation zone, and again this actually bottomed out around June of 2021. Now we've started the nice push to the upside for wave 5, and we're just taking out the 786 area, where this will be the big bull signal. If we can get the close candle up here over the weekend, that will take us into a very good, strong next week move to the upside with all-time highs. Overall, we have an upward trend that started back in February of 2020 before we had the March crash, and then obviously a support that was found down in that crash. This actually upper bound level here started in February and was tested up with wave 1. We broke through it on wave 3, but back tested on wave 3 and back tested again in wave 4 and wave 5, pushing to the upside. This is a very strong trend line, so we're going to track this one even during the bear market. We can see over here that this is also a trend line for us, and again, this is something we're going to watch out for to see if we can find some interesting bouncing from this during the bear market as well. Overall, right now, everything is very bullish, and we are moving up to look into another 318% in gains for the end of this run. Ultimately, that should take us to around the 79-cent area. And again, will be putting us in a pretty good lucrative position ahead of where we are heading in a bear market to accumulate more Harmony 1. And if that is of interest to you guys, then do stick around to the channel, and we are going to be going through a lot of the strategies and dollar cost averaging fantastic positions with this particular project. Right, with all that said, I just want to kind of highlight that the structure on this weekly chart is very, very good, and there are no problems. Let's jump down into our daily view, and with this daily view we can see a little bit more of what's been going on most recently. Here we can see the good surge to the upside, the slightly pull back into the 618702 area, close on the 702, open on the 702, and now pushing above the 786 today. Okay, there is a downward trend here on this daily, and again this has been where we blasted out from. Again, that upward trend still stands. Now this is a key area for us when we are just up in the overbought area like we were previously. But again, we can be up here for quite some time as we have previously tracked during this initial run. So being up here doesn't bother me too much. It really depends on what's going on with the hourly as to whether or not we are looking for some small pullbacks before we continue this push to the upside. Overall, we can see that even when Bitcoin had its initial pullback over here on the 7th, when we were all the way down this end, we have gained significant ground since, right? If I actually grab hold of my price range here, from Bitcoin pullback through to the high that we had, we've gained 114%. Okay, so there's a, if you're able to buy and sell the tops there, significant amount of money here could have been made on this last week alone when it comes to Harmony 1. I know this project seems to be frustrating people in terms of it doesn't feel like it's doing anything. But to me, when I take a look at this data and I look at the chart, this looks like it's done an awful lot, right? And likewise, you know, 18,900%, it has done a lot. It's not something that is just sideways trading constantly. There are moments where you have to have things correct. You have to have things kind of work for us. But I'm hoping that where things are right now, that many people who were buying it around the top of wave 3 and have held all the way through are finally starting to get some confidence back in Harmony 1. And we can take a look at this stochastic. We are looking for a small pullback maybe, but otherwise I'm quite happy with where this is. We can be up here for quite some time, as we have highlighted previously. Overall, Harmony 1 on this daily chart is looking okay when there's not a lot of issues. We can take a look at the 𝗲𝗓 dashboard, take a look at what the artificial intelligence is telling us, and that machine learning, an unbiased approach, no human intervention. What does that AI say? Well, AI is saying here that Harmony 1 is an A2 rated cryptocurrency, which is fantastic, the second best rating that you can get from the advice.io dashboard. Are there any issues that can be found here? Well, the AMI-HAD ratio is an A2, so no problems with liquidity. Fear and greed index is an A2 rating, so again, no problems there. Again, it's quite greedy. Sharp ratio A2, so again above the 50-day average, no risk to reward. Scenario is looking pretty good. We have the A1, the best profitability that you can find, the A2 moving averages. So overall, yeah, no real problem here when it comes to the underlying data that sits behind the Harmony 1 protocol. Overall, things are looking pretty good. So we should hopefully continue and get this closed candle in this area, which will be absolutely vital for us. With that being said, this is a larger time frame, and we need to understand what is going to happen here and now. So as we actually load up the hourly view, this is where we start to see something slightly differently. We do have an upward trend line. There was a slight pullback before we actually reconfirmed the trend. And this happened last night whilst we were on the stream. Here, this is a bit of Bitcoin just being a little bit volatile, pulling us below our trend, but we did get back above and retest it, and then we blasted right back to the upside. Right now, just above the 786, we can see that we are overbought. So we should be looking for a small pullback here to hopefully take us back down to our trend line before we then go up to the all-time high area. This could happen today, guys. It could be very quick. We could come after the all-time high very, very quickly, or we could actually just continue to kind of just take our time, and it'll be a next week scenario that we eventually see that. But it does look like if we are able to hold this trend line, we are going to be to all-time high really, really soon, and that'll be very, very good for many people in the space, and obviously price discovery that will come after it. So right now there are a few things we should probably just pay attention to. One is the volumes growth haven't been the best right now. I think the market's very volatile, and again, you know, uncertain as to what is going on overall. We can see there the volume needs to grow up a little bit, but we also need to start to see, you know, the volume drop down a bit whilst we have a correction down here to lose that momentum. What we'll look for here is basically a smaller correction like this one. Okay, this correction took us from an overbought area to an oversold area by dropping that volume to really, really low areas. If we're able to see that low area come into the volume area here, then we could lose the momentum and then grow nicely to the all-time high area. So all eyes are on what happens next with Harmony here, whether we're going to hold our trend line and continue the growth to the upside. If we just actually pull back up into our daily here, and we'll talk about what those price discoveries look like. The all-time high comes in at 22.4 cents, so that's what we're looking to try to track and try to get above. A good surge from a good bounce of our trend line could take us there. The first price target that we want to be addressing is 33.3 cents. After that, we are talking about going up to the 51 cent area, the 68 area, and then the 79 cent area. Okay, and then we have got the theoretical dollar that does peak out after that. Overall, everything is structurally working well for Harmony. I have no issues with this one. Obviously, we just what happens on that hourly, whether or not we're going to see a small pullback or a slightly deeper pullback than we would like to see. The main thing that we are looking for, whether we get all-time highs today or tomorrow, is basically to make sure that we get a closed candle above 18.6 cents. That's going to be absolutely key for tomorrow's weekly candle. Getting that weekly closed candle in that position is a very big bull signal for the next week ahead. So that should be the main concern for many people in the space right now, many of the Harmony 1 bulls out there, getting that 18.6 cent candle closed on the weekly. If we are lucky enough to actually go ahead and pass all-time highs and hold it over tomorrow into a really good, strong week ahead, then that would also be fantastic. Guys, hopefully you have found this brief update with Harmony 1 useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.